on what we anticipate will be some of the actions we'll witness on Thursday this week. It's been touted to be a memorial or remembrance of the victims of police brutality, those who died in 2024 and those who died last year as they protested around June 25th. There have been calls for people to stay at home, and police and other security agencies are anticipating that there could be some unrest, and they're ready for them. What kind of action police will take, we still do not know. The other big discussion is about the conduct of Parliament, the National Assembly. The fact that they passed the finance bill with a majority. More than 50% of members of the National Assembly were not present. We've seen them previously being very active, especially around the impeachment case of the former deputy president. The House was full, and that had not been witnessed in a very long time. Meaning that when they feel they need to be in the House, they are in the House. During the break, you seem to suggest that probably you challenge the fact that these people have ceded too much ground.
I do not believe in this idea or this point of view that the executive has taken charge of Parliament. That's not the case, because the rules, the duties and responsibilities of each institution are defined within our Constitution. Therefore, if there is a member of Parliament who is failing in his own position as an individual, there's a personal issue. Like now, all those MPs that did not turn up that day are supposed to be held accountable in their own specific individual capacities. Instead of just,
how do we do that?
Instead of blanketly.
If we may talk about reality,
instead of
we know the recall clause is not usable.
Okay, the recall clause has been played around with the same Parliament, and I think Kenyans need to find a way of ensuring that that recall clause is implemented, so that every individual member of Parliament can be held accountable at an individual level. We cannot blanketly just declare that an institution is rotten or is bad.
But 50% of people refuse to come. That's a whole institution.
Yet we had MPs who went there, debated and voted. So those are good members of Parliament. But they also have weaknesses in other aspects, like every other human being. So we cannot blanketly just say this institution has been captured by the other institution. Even if the executive wanted to capture the Parliament as an institution, it's not possible, because all the powers of every institution in this country is protected and is provided for in the Constitution. So they only need to ensure that they work according to the provisions of the Constitution.
Okay. One of the most criticized members of the National Assembly on this action is Ndindi Nyoro, the MP for Kiharu. He had been very vocal, especially around the budget-making debate. He was vocal days before the voting inside Parliament, talking about what should be, what should not be in the finance bill. Then on the day of voting, it's a no-show.
Yeah. I want to start by challenging his point of view. And I want to say that it cannot be coincidental that on an important day when Parliament is supposed to debate and vote for the finance bill, really providing fiscal guidance for the next 12 months, more than half of the members of Parliament are not present, all right? We've had a lot of claims about this Parliament, about bribery, about personal opportunities, and I mean, it can only be that, all right? It can only be that these members of Parliament, most of them are afraid to be seen to be going against government, or to be seen to be going against the wishes of the people they represent. So it is very true that this Parliament is captured by the executive, all right? Because they need to be in the House. They know that this is an important bill. They cannot run away, all right? And we have had, you remember at one point even BAMBA said, the welfare, that there is a lot of bribery claims. We've had during the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua that members of Parliament were paid, and perhaps that is why most of them were present, all right? And them staying away perhaps is also part of it, being paid to stay away or just trying to play safe.
Deputy Speaker spoke to the fact that probably some instructions are coming from the direction of the executive. She said,
yes, it is a fact.
President, when you tell us to do this, we do this.
It is not rocket science. You can see direct influence by the executive.
Do you think that this was a collective decision?
Yeah.
That 186 members stay away, that someone may have told them stay away, or do you think it was individual decisions based on fear?
It is, perhaps it is, of course there's influence. Some of them will be told stay away, but most of them are just playing safe. They know they have 1 year to go. They know that this particular document is not popular with their electorate. So they are playing safe. Instead of me going to vote for, yes, to be seen, to be in good books with government, let me stay away so that even I'm still in good books with my people. So most of them are playing now 2027 politics, but still, like I said, supporting the government's decision, because staying away is tantamount to voting yes. All right, because then you force that quorum, you force that number. Coming to Ndindi Nyoro, my good friend, I think I would also want to challenge him that the pressers, the being vocal, do not count. What really counts is the voting, all right? I would rather you stay silent, but then still go and vote physically, yes or no. But telling us it is wrong, telling us that this is not right, and then staying away is really, it doesn't help us as Kenyans. So I want to challenge all the members of parliament and even my very good friend Ndindi Nyoro that yes, it's okay for you to be vocal and to really, as an expert, to tell us what is happening. But please, what really counts is you being in the house at that particular hour and voting yes or voting no, really depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. And it says something about even debate around age of our legislators.
Yeah.
Many people believe that the younger the legislator, the better the decision. But seeing that kind of action from Ndindi Nyoro, what did it make you feel?
First, before I talk about Ndindi Nyoro, who is also a very good personal friend of mine, allow me to disagree with my fellow panelist when he says that most of this legislature already knew that this bill is very unpopular and they didn't want to be part of it. That's a very self-defeating statement, because if I know my electorate feel this is unpopular, then it is my responsibility to go and vote no, to actually make it now unpopular. When you stay away, how are the voices of those majority you're imagining that find it unpopular represented?
Unless you don't have the choice of saying no.
Unless you don't have a choice of saying no, and you do have a choice. So when he is trying to abscond them of direct, they should take direct responsibility. I also want to disagree with him. These people are not supposed to be yielding to what the executive wants. And we are not going to point fingers at the executive. We are going to point fingers at the right place, which is the legislature. They should take personal responsibility. We are not going to shift blame, because what I hear from him, he's trying to shift blame. He's trying to blame the executive for the actions of the legislature. No, these are very independent bodies. If they have failed, if the legislature have failed, we are going to point fingers at the right place, which is the legislature. We are not going to blame the executive for this.
And I agree with Joan Famba that even public participation is mainly domiciled within the legislature.
Yeah.
They are the ones who conduct. So they are the ones who are in custody of the views of the public. They know what these people said, yes or no.
No, actually I had not finished, because I also wanted to talk about Ndindi Nyoro. Yeah, Ndindi Nyoro is a friend, and that makes me a bit careful how I talk, because people are loyal to their friends. But on this one, he failed me. He's someone that Kenyans listen to because he's very well educated, he understands issues of economics. At the same time, he was the former chair of the budget committee. So when he says something, people take it as law. The other time when there was the LPO for Kenya Pipeline, my sister refused to buy them because Ndindi Nyoro said they're not good. People listen to him across the country. So this is someone who has a voice. We look at him as an intellectual. We graduated with him during the masters. So when he says something, we take it as law. He was misleading the public by quoting clauses that were not existing. As if that was not enough, I heard him saying that some of the participants were manufactured, that he has never seen a scenario where Kenyans propose a levy on anything. I proposed a levy on furnace oil because it pollutes the environment. I did that. So he's saying that some of those things look like the committee for finance and planning were actually manufacturing them. That was a lie. So I just want to call out my friend Ndindi that he is someone we respect a lot. I respect him. He's respected. He's a brain that we are all looking up to. When he says something, we want to listen to him. He should take advantage of that to give us factual information. And actually, the part that where he didn't vote is what really broke my heart. He should have, because he had taken a stand. Ndindi was very clear. He was not supporting the finance bill. And even the proposals that he had proposed were not, they were not taken into consideration. He was very clear. So what happened when it came to just saying no? That means he decided to play safe. Why play safe when you're already a star legislator? He's one of the star legislators that we know.
And even the level of debate before the voting, many members appear not to have been very well acquainted with the documents. Not once did was a member forced to withdraw when they quoted clauses that were not existing in the document itself. Whether it was a late amendment or not, surely these people have researchers. Are we wrong in just calling out this parliament? I'm very vocal in calling them out, that this is a rotten house.
But anyway, before I make my point, I think Kenyans should learn through that and learn to elect well-educated legislators in the future. You know, someone who is illiterate or semi-literate or someone who does not love reading books, how will he find time, whether he has a research or not, to pay attention to anything that is written? They'll not find time for that. So this populism of electing someone because he's shouting on the streets of what, it should be a thing of the past. People should learn to elect people who have gone to school, people who are capable of representing them. And people should not be afraid of expressing this. You know, when you raise this issue, people start telling you, so-and-so is an MP and is not going to school. Are you better than him? No. People should elect people who are well-educated, people who can read, people who can legislate, people who understand the responsibilities and duties of members of parliament. In the context of what we are discussing, a good number of members of parliament who were agitating the north side were misinformed or lacked information. Like you just indicated, some of the aspects of the debate, people will stand up, make arguments about, for example, clause 169, and then it's told it does not exist, it's not in the bill. Have you read the bill? It seems you have read something different, or you have read the bill of 2024, 2020, another year, as opposed to what is being tabled. So out of shame, I think these people who intended to vote no realized that they had no basis of voting no. And instead of coming and being unable to vote yes, which is a moral responsibility and moral duty, because they have realized that that's the truth and that's the right thing to do, because of avoiding to be ashamed of their own actions and previous debates, they decided to keep off. That's my hypothesis. And that's why I insist that we must learn to elect people who are thorough and competent in the space that we want them to represent us in. For example, at the presidential level, we did the right thing. We voted as someone who holds a PhD, someone who is running the country in the right direction. President William Ruto is doing a lot of work. I'm giving you an example of electing someone on the basis of competence. Okay. We must learn. The way we did at the presidential level, we must be the same at all levels. So we'll have a country moving in a progressive manner because of competence.
Gitonga, you are an aspirant
to
be a member of the National Assembly.
Yes.
Looking at this house, is that what you aspire to? Is that you're thinking of being a legislator?
Absolutely not. But before I come to that, there's a point that I really don't want us to miss. Because I'm not talking from a theoretical point of view, but from a very practical point of view, when I say that this parliament is captured and there is a lot of direct influence by the executive. And I'm not shifting the blame from parliament to the executive. I'm just saying that there is direct influence, and some of the decisions that are being made in parliament is because somebody is either afraid or free because somebody is watching. And once, I think, before 2024 finance bill voting, we saw the president himself, I think he was in Kajiado, saying that nataka kuona ni akina nani hao ambao wataenda kuangusha finance bill. All right? And he even said that hata ikue wazi. All right? Isikuwe secret. I want to see ni akina nani hao wataangusha your finance bill. And it was very unpopular at that time. All right? So that is what we are talking about. And we need to see a parliament that is free, a parliament that is independent. This one is not. And it's not theoretical, it is practical. Of course, I am running to be a member of parliament 2027. And I want to agree with my brother that this is the highest time now that we get to elect competent leaders who can be able to do the job. Leaders who understand the role of parliament, leaders who can call out the executive when they're doing what they're doing is wrong, when what they're doing is not right. A leader who is independent, and a leader who knows they've been sent to parliament not to please the government of the day, but to represent their people, to represent his or her people, to voice the concerns of his or her people. And that is where we're headed to. I am very ashamed of this parliament, all right, to be very honest, because every time they're always on the wrong side of history, all right? When it comes to public participation, when it comes to debating, when it comes to really being free as a member of parliament, it cannot be coincidental. And I'll keep saying that you have more than 50% absconding one of their very important roles during the debating and voting of the finance bill. So, and that is why some of us are here, and they're saying we want to get into that parliament because we believe we can do better than those who are there, Fred, all right? So for me, I am very embarrassed and ashamed of this 13th parliament. They are not free. It's like they've become another caucus or another parliamentary group that is really remote controlled by the executive. And by saying that, I really leave the blame with them, because they need to be competent enough to know that they've been sent to parliament with a very special mandate by the people, all right, to legislate, all right, what is right for the people, to oversight the executive, to call them out when what they do is wrong, and to represent their people, all right, because in a constituency, no one else has the privilege, the advantage to go into Bunge and debate. It's only that one member of parliament. And therefore, what they need to do in parliament is not their wishes, but the wishes of their people.
Yeah, they say that power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Correct.
And it would appear that when it comes to our parliament, I will not hesitate but to call them out. Let me give you an opportunity to make your final remarks, starting with you, Joanne, about two minutes or so.
Okay. I think the finance bill this time round, I think the CS body did a better job. I can't say best, but it was a better job based on the previous ones. It was a departure from the 2024 finance bill because it did not introduce new taxes. And I congratulate him for that. Looking at the general document and looking at the current circumstances of the economy, I think he did what I would consider the best. Okay, I think Kenyans, we were heard, that I can say. There was sufficient public participation from my end. And I just want to urge us, the government might not be getting it right all the time, but it would be very, very dishonest for us to say they are also getting it wrong all the time. I just want to urge us Kenyans to be people who are also, because making of our nation does not take one person. Making of a nation does not even take only these organs of the government. We have to do it together as a nation. Constant disruptions through protests, and I want to call them unnecessary protests, because I feel we should protest when we are trying to get the government to hear us, but they are refusing to hear us. In this circumstance of finance bill, the government heard us, they involved us, and now a final document has been voted. I think I want to urge us Kenyans to also learn to appreciate where the government is getting it right. On this one, it was a better one. May not be a best one, but it was a better one. Let us be people who also acknowledge the president is also doing so much, honestly. He is getting it wrong sometimes, but he gets it right most of the time. The situation right now is quite hard. But in this hard economy, you can see things moving. You can see affordable houses. You can see these things. Personally, what I appreciate the most is these government services that are now digitized. That we don't have to go and queue for things that we used to queue for. Things we used to give vitu vidogo for them to come out, passports, driving license, you just go online. Those are areas that are actually working. So as much as we are quite litigious and we are activists by nature, we are always punching holes, let us also be people who appreciate when it is working. When the president has done well, let us appreciate. When the finance bill has been done well and the CS has done well, let us appreciate. And then finally, as we go, I want to also commend Kenyans. I think 2024 finance bill was quite a game changer, because since that time, Kenyans are so involved in this budget making process. I have never seen people who are hawk-eyed in every step on the way. Kenyans were asking questions. They actually read this thing, because the kind of questions they were asking tells you they were informed. In fact, a majority of them were informed more than the legislator I saw debating. I want to commend us, Kenyans. Let us continue like this. Let us be involved. Let us ask questions where we need to ask questions. Let us be involved. Let us be part of this government. Congratulations to Kenyans for being very, very active in holding the government accountable.
Asante sana. Fumba.
Fred, I think there is a very prolific social media user. I think maybe you have come across him. It's called Levin Opio. Levin Opio documents stuff that includes historical facts. So there's a time I saw he posted something about a newspaper cutting in 1970s, saying that the cost of life, cost of living is too high. That was in 1970s, and the fuel was about 2 shillings and something like that per liter. So I want to say that the challenges that we face today are not so unique as opposed to the previous circumstances. Mm-hmm. The difference is that every time has its own challenges of the season. They are not the same. They are not the same in terms of extent, but in most cases, issues like cost of living, budgetary challenges, they are always there. So I want Kenyans to be optimistic and understand that the president has made a lot of efforts in making this country better. If you look at the cost of living, if you look at the time he came in, the cost of unga, he said was about 250, and now is 100 and something. You know, that's the basic need. You look at other developments, you look at Alanza Stadium, you look at affordable housing. Why are we always looking at things as a glass being half empty instead of looking at it as half full? So there's progress. Like even at the international level, you've seen the world's latest, the first trillionaire, Elon Musk, coming out and saying that we want humanity to occupy Mars. The ambition is to occupy Mars, but we have not even managed to occupy the moon. Mm-hmm. So that ambition of occupying the moon will be a step towards going to Mars. The attempts to go to the moon have been there. Okay. And people have managed to reach there, but they have not built the basis. Okay. So let us also know that even if we are aiming at building some of this stuff, I was looking at this newspaper headline of 6 months. Yeah. Even if we are saying in 6 months, we can still achieve the same, even if it's in 1 year or 2 years. Like you see the roads in Gabatula, the one, not Gabatula, this Kotulo, Tarbaj, the roads that the president was mentioning, because they are work in progress right now. So.
Asante sana. I want to say 3 things quickly. I want to remind the Kenyans that, yes, we have complained a lot about this parliament. We have complained a lot about things that are not working in the last 3 years. I want to tell them, and I want to tell all of us that an opportunity is coming in 2027 for us to be able to fix it. All right. The provisions of Article 38 dictates that every Kenyan who is above 18 has the right to be able to vote leaders into office. And I want to agree with my fellow panelists that let us now be able to really get the right leaders into office so that we are not complaining every day. Leaders who are competent enough, leaders who can do the job, leaders who are empathetic and passionate about people, because they need to understand that the decisions they make really influence how people live. Also to remind them that provisions again of Chapter 1 of our Constitution dictates that power belongs to the people. And that power can be exercised directly or indirectly through democratically elected leaders. And therefore, that's another opportunity for us to be able to exercise that power, you know, in 2027 by ensuring we have the right leaders who can be able to champion our needs. Anybody who goes against the wishes and the wills of the people is not the leader that we desire. For us in opposition, I'm in opposition now, and I'm running to be Member of Parliament in Othaya. When we call out government, it's not because we hate the people in government. It's because we love our country too much, and we want the government to do what is right. Fred, I want to say here that I will not celebrate affordable housing when I know behind it we have too many workers, crying about a housing levy that was implemented without their wishes, without their involvement. I will not celebrate Talanta Stadium when I know 11 billion shillings have been lost and it has costed more than Old Trafford Stadium in the United Kingdom. I will not celebrate compensation when I know it was intentional killing of the young people by this government. We are going to continue calling out this government when they do what is not right, because we want our country to be better. We want our country to be better for the coming generations and for all of us. So let us continue to work together and let us continue to pressure the government to do what is right, because we are put into office by Kenyans to do what is right.
Asante sana. Anthony Gitonga, MP aspirant of that constituency, former NC, former political analyst, and Joanna Kinyo Pon, policy analyst.